my thoughts of it. So I had to look at it again because I couldn't believe it when I read Singapore. Human trafficking usually occurs with poor women from less economically developed countries. As of right now, my impression is that it's cruel and it's bad, but I think that's everyone's impression of it.
To be honest, it's not something that I've read up a lot about, but I think it happens mostly in third world countries.
From the documentaries that I've watched, probably Southeast Asian countries, not necessarily Singapore, but maybe Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, yeah.
It's not really that regulated per se, yeah, and I think there's not a lot of help in this kind of thing. So when someone goes missing, it's usually quite hard to find them back. Yeah, so that's when this kind of things happen more.
In your case,
Out loud?
Yes, out loud.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll start. My name is Min and I come from Vietnam. I love my family. Even though we lived a simple life, we were very happy. My father is my life hero. He has a severe spine injury, but he still works very hard and takes up many jobs as a waiter, kitchen assistant, and part-time chef without complaining.
I wanted to help them and went to look for a job so that I could pay for my little sister's school fees. A family friend knew about our situation and suggested that mother and I work as waitresses in Singapore. My father didn't want us to go, but we did anyway, thinking how much it would help the family.
But when we had to start work, we realized it wasn't a good restaurant. They forced us to have sex with the customers. My mother made the ultimate sacrifice. She agreed to work for them if they didn't force me. But I still had to do other chores. I worried every day about my mother and was very
overwhelmed with guilt. One of the women in the house took pity on us and helped me to escape and called the police to save my mother. We were rescued and placed in a safe house, but I kept blaming myself for what happened. If I did not go out to look for a job, none of this would have happened. I had just made things worse. Hagar helped me to see that it wasn't all my fault. They believed in me and taught me to forgive myself.
Now I know how important it is to have an education. Then no one can trick me and I know how to get help. For now, I really want to be able to finish my cooking course so that I can open my own restaurant.
So I had to look at it again because I couldn't believe it when I read Singapore.
Any feelings about it?
Shock because really didn't expect this to be in Singapore. Disgust because, why would people do this kind of thing?
It was sad that the mother got forced into having sex with the customers, and that thankfully the girl came out of it and didn't have these kind of experiences.
What hit me was the mother's sacrifice part, because I guess you would go to many lengths to protect your children.
For many people in our age, we are working part-time because we want to fund our interests, right? For these people, they have to travel, to come to our country to work. Unfortunately, they are susceptible to this kind of situations, where they are forced to do things that they do not want to do. I think that it's something that is actually more common than we might think, and it's something that is happening, but it's not really spoken much about. My name is Hua and I'm 27 years old. I work in a salon providing makeup and hairstyling services. Since young, my brother and I couldn't go to school and we had to find work to take care of our father and mother who are very sick. When I was much younger, one of my first jobs was at a restaurant. I made some friends there and got very close to one lady, and I shared about my family problems with her. She told me that I should go to Singapore to learn nail art and she could help me to get there through a friend she knows. I thought it would be a good way to earn more money, so I agreed.
But I never got to Singapore. I was sent to Malaysia instead. They tricked me into working at a brothel and forced me to serve the customers. I had to see 15 to 20 men every day, and one day I got HIV.
The boss didn't do anything to help, but continued to force me to work until I became too sick to do anything. Then he threw me out on the streets.
Some kind person gave me money to call home, and when my mother knew that I was in Malaysia, she called up everyone she knew to borrow money from them so that she could come and bring me home. I was very weak then, and I was admitted to the hospital when I got back. The doctor said if I had been there any later, I would have died.
I also met Haga then, and they helped me to support my medical bills and cared for me. After 5 months, I was much better and wanted to start work.
Teachers are also very understanding and supportive and were very patient in teaching me. No one asked me about my past. My teachers and friends are always so friendly and understanding. I don't feel like I'm less than anyone else, thanks to them. My mother told me to work hard, as the worst has passed. I am very thankful to have this new chance in life.
She got forced to work at a brothel and had to see so many men every day, and in the end she also got HIV and got thrown out to the streets.
Corny as it sounds, people are people, and they shouldn't be treated as any less. But that is not what happened to her. I think what's striking about it is she's portrayed as an object, no different from any other tool that you would use, because she says that she's forced to continue working until she can no longer do anything else, and then she's kind of thrown aside. So she's kind of compared to any other household item in that sense.
I think it's quite unfortunate that this person is only able to pursue her passions and interests after such an unfortunate thing happens to her. In Singapore, honestly, we are born in such a privileged position to be able to choose what we want to do. For most of us, it's really quite sad that they are not able to experience the things that we get to experience just because we were born in different countries.
I don't think it really changed my perception, but more so I was able to get a picture of what happens, because when I think about human trafficking, I think it's just a bunch of people being illegally smuggled into another country and abused.
My impression before this was just they're just a victim, and that's end of story. I guess this shows that a previous incident doesn't define you. After they've come out of this, they still have a life to live.
It's kind of an out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, right? All of us know that it's unfortunate and that these kind of things keep happening, but the fact that it's not happening to us or anyone near us, it's not an immediate concern that we have. After reading about these stories, I get reminded of the tragedy that these people face, being forced to have sex with 15 to 20 men a day. It's just a reminder of the privilege that we have, in our society, and the privilege I have as a person living in Singapore.
I think I was also in that mindset where I felt very helpless regarding this topic, and I felt there was no way to even help them. But I think after reading the stories, I have more hope.
Now that social media is becoming more widespread and all of us are on social media, I guess it opens up the platform for many of us to discuss such topics. If you have the financial means to do so, I think it would be good to donate to these causes, so that they can help more people. And I think that it's good that we are talking about it, because if we just brush it under the table or if we just ignore such matters, there will be no change in our society.